There's a lot of action in this film, a lot more than the first one. And the sets that we did build that obviously didn't exist in real life were just fantastic. I mean, all of the underground kind of cave sequences are beautiful.
Inside of every actor is a little child's heart that finds these things incredibly exciting.
This was a physical adventure, and the way I talked with Helen, I said, this is fun for us, you know. We get to be very physical. Oh, wow, that'd be wonderful. I can't wait for that. Oh, my good.
The last 45 minutes of the movie are just extraordinary, big action sets, water, caves, mountains, all to make you in awe and at the same time believe you are in a remarkable cave in South Dakota.
We have some unusual action sequences and bigger action sequences than we ever attempted to do on the first National Treasure.
This is the part of the set where they go through the floor. This is the platform that tips down, and it's got padding and blue screen on it now, so that they can slide without getting hung up on the texture of the rock.
The cast is exploring this cave. They come up on what they don't realize is a trap door. The trap door had a pivot point, like right here, and the back of it would actually come up. This is the switch that controls the cylinders that drop the door with the power of hydraulics. It's oil under pressure. We messed around a little bit and we got it to actually go a little bit quicker. I had a box with a slider switch on it, and I would just dump the trap door. It ended up being as fast as it would go. They wanted it quick.
To what degree the actors were willing to perform and literally free fall down this ramp to a bottomless pit, that concerned me. We initially thought that we would rig overhead wires and just do the initial drop and keep them up without rolling. They were all really good sports about the whole thing and very willing, so that evolved to padding this ramp, and they literally rolled down past camera, and we got all those great shots of them.
There was actually 2 different trap doors built in 2 different locations. One was at Disney, and we had an identical trap door where the trap door actually dumps them onto the motion platform.
You fall on this platform. Unfortunately, the platform is being held by these ropes, and the ropes break. So this platform is being balanced on a large rock. So our characters have to kind of position themselves on this platform so it doesn't tip over. And if one person moves, somebody has to counterweight that person by moving also. So it becomes a very exciting action sequence where they all could die if they don't work as a team.
A lot of the action was pretty intense. So on a lot of the wider shots, the stunt performers were working with the cast members on doing some of like the actual falling off of the trap door and onto the motion platform. But in addition to the stunt performers, the cast was great because Nicolas Cage, Justin Bartha, Diane Kruger, and Ed Harris, they did all of it. They dumped down the trap door. Nicolas Cage was he was hanging off the side of the platform, and they really kept the action alive. It was exciting, you know, to have them actually doing it.
That was fun doing all that physical stuff. Nothing was particularly dangerous, but it's fun.
Action stuff can be really fun, and some of it it's very technical, so it doesn't feel like you're actually doing an amazing stunt. It looks way cooler, you know, than what you're actually doing.
As you go, take your steps, it will raise it back up.
The balance beam in the caverns of the Black Hills is this platform that we were all on, which sort of tests the mettle of the people that find them there, whether or not they can survive it or sacrifice or work together to get to the next step in the video game.
When you read in the script, gigantic 24 by 24 square balance chamber that tilts on a central axis, and a writer spent 30 seconds, and you now have to say, how are we going to do that? You then turn around and ask your special effects guy, how are we going to do this? And he then says, oh, that's no problem. I have a Waldo and a gimbal. And you say, oh, that's great. And you turn to the next person and go, what's a Waldo and a gimbal?
The Waldo is the joystick that controls the 6-axis gimbal that we used on National Treasure 2. This is just literally a smaller version of the gimbal. Any move that you make here on the Waldo, it will translate right there onto the gimbal. The gimbal itself looks identical to this in its geometry. It's got 6 hydraulic cylinders that control 2 opposing triangles like the one you see here. So it's one triangle on top of another triangle with the 6 cylinders. Again, each of the cylinders, they're powered by hydraulics, and they have a total stroke of 33 inches. That's this measurement here. So that's how far out the piston could move out of the cylinder.
They had built a giant pyramid with spokes that hold up an extremely heavy 24 by 24 piece of wood. It connects remotely, and as the operator moves it, the entire massive structure moves. It's kind of like giant bionics in some ways.
The gimbal itself was built by my father. It's like a flight simulator is basically what it is. And so the information I put through on the Waldo is sent through a computer, which runs off of a system called Cooper.
Why don't we turn the Waldo on?
Then it is sent back through to the gimbal. Now the Cooper system, it's capable of recording any movement I make too. So if I make a move, the computer operator, Rob Menapace, could record it, he could save it, and we could play it back take for take. Now what made this job unique and challenging was that it was all live action. So I was actually watching the actors, so when they step, I had to move with it and try to keep it a little bit alive in motion and make it look like it's literally balancing.
You stop that? Hey, what did you do?
We had to build this gimbal, which was enormous in size because it had to support the weight not only of our actors, but this enormous platform. But fortunately for us, it looked brilliant.